Can you feel that uneasy silence, Packers Nation? Because for the first time in weeks, maybe months, the Green Bay Packers are heading into the playoffs not with a roar, but with a whisper. On a cold Sunday night inside US Bank Stadium, two NFC North rivals walked onto the same field with very different motivations. The Minnesota Vikings, playing for nothing but pride, momentum, and a glimpse of the future. And the Green Bay Packers, already locked into the postseason, trying to protect their bodies while hoping their rhythm would somehow survive the pause. It didn't. The Vikings walked away with a 16-3 victory, handing Green Bay its fourth straight loss. And while the final score won't live forever in highlight reels, the implications, oh, those are massive. Now, let's break this down. Because this wasn't just a Week 18 loss. This was a warning sign. The Packers are officially in the playoffs, yes. Another chapter in one of the most storied franchises in NFL history. Titletown. 13 World Championships. 4 Super Bowl trophies. The Frozen Tundra of Lambeau Field. The Lambeau Leap. The only community-owned franchise in all of professional sports. This team is built on resilience, pride, and January football. But Sunday night didn't feel like January football. It felt like a preseason game for one team and a statement game for the other. Head coach Matt LaFleur made a calculated decision. Rest the stars. Protect the core. No Jordan Love at quarterback. No Josh Jacobs pounding the rock. Key defensive starters watching from the sideline. Health over momentum. And in theory, that makes sense. The NFL playoffs are brutal. One wrong hit can end a season. But here's the problem. Momentum matters in January. Confidence matters. Timing matters. And right now, Green Bay has none of it. The offense, led by backup quarterback Clayton Tune, struggled from the opening snap. Tune, making just his second career start, looked overwhelmed by Minnesota's aggressive defensive approach. The Packers managed only 12 total yards of offense in the entire first half. 12. That's not a typo. For newer fans, a quick reminder. The quarterback is the player who touches the ball on nearly every offensive play, responsible for throwing passes, handing the ball off, and directing the offense. When that position struggles, everything collapses with it. And collapse it did. Tune was under constant pressure, blitzed relentlessly by Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores. The offensive line depth, something Green Bay has long prided itself on, cracked under the stress. Missed assignments. Late reactions. No push in the run game. No protection in the passing game. This wasn't just about missing Jordan Love. This was about execution. And the lack of it was alarming. Here's where it gets really interesting. Because this loss didn't happen in isolation. The Packers haven't won a game in nearly a month. That's 4 straight losses heading into the wild card round. And history tells us something uncomfortable. Teams that limp into the playoffs rarely make deep runs. You don't just flip the switch in January. Not consistently. Not against elite competition. Not on the road. And yes, Green Bay will likely get Love back. Jacobs will return. The defense will be closer to full strength. But football isn't played on paper. It's played on timing, trust, and confidence. And right now, that locker room is searching for all three. Meanwhile, on the other sideline, Minnesota looked like a team discovering itself. Rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy didn't need to be spectacular. He just needed to be steady. And that's exactly what he was. Calm in the pocket. Smart with the football. Poised when it mattered most. The defining moment came late in the first half, during a textbook 2-minute drill. McCarthy moved the Vikings down the field with confidence, capped by a short touchdown pass to fullback C.J. Ham. That drive wasn't flashy, but it was professional. He also found Justin Jefferson for key gains, helping Jefferson eclipse 1,000 receiving yards for the 5th straight season. That kind of consistency puts Jefferson in rare company and reinforces his status as one of the premier wide receivers in the entire league. Yes, McCarthy left the game with a hand injury, something the Vikings will monitor closely into the offseason. But zoom out for a second. Minnesota finishes 9-8. Misses the playoffs. Yet ends the season on a 4-game winning streak with a rookie quarterback showing real promise. That's not a rebuild. That's a reset. And for Vikings fans, that matters. Now, let's talk about the moment that stole the heart of the stadium. C.J. Ham. In a league obsessed with speed, stats, and contracts, Ham represents something different. A fullback. A role player. A grinder. Possibly playing the final game of his career. When McCarthy handed him the ball at the goal line, everyone in the building knew what was coming. And when Ham crossed the plane, the roar wasn't just for a touchdown. It was for a career. 4 years of doing the dirty work. 4 blocking without headlines. 4 professionalism. The cameras caught his family in the stands, emotional, proud, frozen in the moment. A reminder that beneath the helmets and pads, this game is still human. Now, back to Green Bay. Because this game exposed something the Packers must confront: depth. If Sunday was an audition for the bottom half of the roster, very few passed. Injuries are inevitable in the playoffs. If Green Bay loses a key starter next week, whether it's against Chicago or Philadelphia, the drop-off could be severe. The backups struggled to compete consistently against a motivated Vikings team. And that raises real questions about roster construction beyond the starting 22. This isn't panic, but it is concern. And when you widen the lens even further, this game tells us something bigger about the NFC North. This division is no longer predictable. The Lions are contenders. The Bears are improving. The Vikings are finding their footing. And the Packers, despite making the playoffs, suddenly look vulnerable. The gap is closing. For Minnesota, beating Green Bay to end the season changes the entire offseason narrative. They're not searching for identity anymore. They're building around one. For Green Bay, the message is urgent. There are 6 days to rediscover the team that looked dangerous in November. The team that played fast, confident, and connected. The team that carried the legacy of Lombardi, Starr, Favre, and Rodgers with pride. Because playoff football doesn't wait. And neither do critics. So now I want to hear from you, Packers Nation. Do you believe this team can flip the switch? Is resting the starters the right call, or did it cost them momentum? And how far do you honestly think this Packers team can go in January? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you bleed green and gold. And subscribe for more in-depth Packers coverage as this postseason journey unfolds. Because in Green Bay, hope never dies. But in January, it has to be earned. Cheese Wedge American Football.